Hello there. I'm Sue Johnson on Wake Up and Live with the Arts. I'm your host for today. Well, actually every day that we broadcast our YouTube show for you wonderful viewing audience. And today we have a creative artist who is so prolific. She does it all. She's kind of a Renaissance lady. And her name is Debra Rose. And she is so prolific and profound that I'm going to actually read the first two paragraphs of her bio, something I never really do, so that you get an idea of what an astounding guest she is. Here's her bio. Debra Rose is an author, speaker, actor, and entertainer. Wait till you hear her describe her activities. She has committed herself to bringing all people together using love and positivity through live performances, social media, speaking, and workshops. She also blogs regularly through social media and is a monthly contributor to the Senior Years newspaper, where she tells positive, feel-good stories. She encourages others to share their God-given gifts. To that end, she hosts a monthly poetry and open mic night where she features budding poets, encourages novice poets to share their work, and provides a workshop where participants craft creative works and share them at the end of the evening. Now that is just a sample of my friend and colleague, Debra Rose. Welcome, darling.
Thank you.
So
good
happy
to be here.
And I'm so happy to see you because it's been quite a while since we've seen each other in person. I follow her Facebook every day. Now, being a Renaissance woman, this lady has already said she's an author, speaker, actor, entertainer, and she's going to share with us some of her activities. And you're starting with being an actor because you are in a couple of upcoming performances. Would you tell our audience about those?
Sure. I'd be happy to. One is, the next one I have coming up will be Friday, April 6th. And it's
that's when my daughter's birthday is. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know what date it was. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I was able to help.
Thank you. I told you I was silly. Okay.
But it is a play about Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, who is a poet, an essayist, a writer, and novelist. And a lot of people are not familiar with her. However, she was very active with the women's suffrage movement. She was helpful on the Underground Railroad. She actually spent a couple of weeks with John Brown with his wife while she was waiting for his execution. And so at one of my poetry events, the author, Kelly Boyer Sager, had found out about this woman and read a couple of her poems. And then she announced to everyone before she announced to me that she would love to write a play and have me star in it. So I said, sure, I'm in, because she actually had a documentary that she had written last year be nominated for an Emmy.
Wow.
Yes.
A national Emmy? Hot dog.
Yes.
Okay.
And that documentary is called The Grandma Gatewood Story.
Okay.
And so I said, sure, Emmy, yep, I'm in. And but I figured, my schedule was very busy, and I figured it would be, a year or two before she finally finished it. She finished it in 2 months.
Oh my.
2 months. And then there was another young lady there, her name is Judy McKeegan, who wanted to be involved in it as well. So Kelly wrote the play. We went into rehearsals. We found the director. We gathered our own props and costumes. And it's called Bound Together, One Great Bundle of Humanity.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
in it, I play Frances Harper at age 84.
Okay.
And I am snowed in with my nurse. And during the play, the nurse finds out how accomplished Frances Harper is. And Frances finds out a little something about Hannah that she didn't know, which kind of adds to the conflict of the play. But that will be the opening night for the Northeast Ohio Christian Writers Conference, also held in the same location at Heritage Presbyterian Church. And during the conference, I will be, in conjunction with Kelly, presenting 2 workshops. One is called No Pressure Poetry, where we have fun and get people to realize that poetry is not this really difficult thing to write, that you can have fun with it and come up with something on the spot. And then our other workshop is for creating life stories. Kelly will be speaking about the writing, and I will be speaking about the acting.
Okay.
So, and this is just, our second performance of this play, but we have several more scheduled.
Now let me ask you, in terms of history, do you happen to know what time in history this lady lived and worked by any chance?
In the 1860s.
Now, was she before Phyllis Wheatley or after, or do you happen to know that?
I do not know that, but I would guess that it might have been around the same time.
As Phyllis Wheatley?
Yes.
Because a lot of folks know her name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the people with whom she was associated are well known, but she is not as well known. However, with the whole women's movement and everything coming up now, if you go online, you can search her and you can find out
more information
about her. Yes.
Okay, and her name again is Frances Ellen Watkins Harper.
Yes.
Okay, was she married a bunch of times, or?
Ellen is her middle name. Frances, Harper is her married name, and Watkins was her maiden name.
Okay, I got
Ellen
it.
is her middle name. So.
And she's a woman of color, which makes it even more astounding. Her accomplishments, that was back in an era when women were not acknowledged for their creative artistry, and heaven knows if you were a woman of color, you were generally not acknowledged. So along with that, of course, you had your Northeast Ohio Christian Writers Conference. Now this is an all-day conference from the looks of it, 9:30 a.m. to 5.
It is.
Can people come in and attend portions of the day that they would like to?
They can, but it's recommended to come early if you're an aspiring writer or playwright, if you're interested in getting published. There are workshops by professionals who share their wisdom with the attendees. It is with the Christian backdrop, so to speak, but it can apply to everyone.
Of course.
So we provide breakfast and lunch. Another one of my businesses will be featured there, which we'll be talking about in a moment. And at the end, which is the first time I attended, one thing that I was particularly enthused about was at the end there's an open discussion with everyone who presented that day, where the audience can ask questions and you can get several answers to each of your questions from people who have already been through the process of publishing. So it's really wonderful.
And please tell the audience just where the Christian Writers Conference and your performance of Frances Harper will be held in terms of location.
Sure. It's in Lorain, Ohio. And it's on Levitt Road, so you can see it from the highway actually. The address is Route 258 and Route 58, and it's Heritage Presbyterian Church, and actually it's sort of in between Amherst and Lorain. It's kind of right where they meet.
Okay.
So it's very easy to get to.
Yeah.
And you can go to their website, which is NEOWCWCW. No, but it's the initials. If you look up Christian Writers Conference, you'll find it.
Okay. All right. On the website, that'll be good. Now, as Debra also alluded to her poetry groups and individuals, encouraging them to open up their creativity. She certainly, here again, to show the broad range of her talent, she has published her poetry books and a couple of coloring books. So would you tell us a little bit about your poetry first?
Sure. The poetry I had been writing.
You want to hold up one of them?
Yes. I've been writing for many years, and then a friend of mine recommended that I, publish some of it. So my first book, which is called In and Out of Love Poems, is just the poetry. This book, The Daisy Game, is poetry with prose. I kind of give the story behind the poetry. And actually, I just changed the name to this one. The new name is...
The Daisy Game.
Yes, that's the
new one.
Previous.
Oh, that's the previous one.
And I'll tell you the new one in just a moment. But in this, by telling the story behind the poems, I think that readers can identify themselves with that. I called this the Daisy Game because of, the game that we pluck the petals.
When we were
He loves
kids,
me, he loves me not.
Yeah.
Yes, and so the first book is He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not, He Loves Me Again.
I read that one.
And Who Cares?
Yeah.
The second book, which is called From Plucking to Praise, is how I went from focusing on vertical relationships to focusing on from horizontal relationships to a vertical relationship with God. And so it's sort of a coming of age kind of thing. And so that's what the new title for this one. I know it's confusing, but From Plucking to Praise they were both just put into print. They were available as ebooks, and they were just put into print and are available now. If you go to Amazon.com and look up Debra Rose, and you'll see
the listings. And you'll see Just Chill on that as well. And that is another poetry book.
This is an adult coloring book.
Oh, that one's a coloring.
Yes,
yeah.
I do have...
Open it so we can see
yes,
one of the pages.
I do have a background in art, and these are very simple...
Oh, that's going to be pretty.
Drawings. And some are geometric, some are floral, and I just happen to go to the same pages of the same exact designs.
So we've got lines and circles and the basics from which all the creativity flows from. Yeah.
Now I have to tell you a little bit about this book. And I started this book when I was caregiver for my mother. And part of my therapy actually was drawing the drawings. And so at the end of the day, after I had her all settled in, I would go and I would draw. And I promised her that I would do one drawing per day. So every morning, and she lived with me, every morning I would present her with a new drawing. And so she'd be able to look at it. Now, my mom was a very creative person as well. She always had something going on in the house, whether it was paint by numbers or crochet or things like that. So she was very excited to look forward to the drawings. And then one day she said, well, if I was going to draw, color this, I would put this color here and that color there. And so I said, well, do it. She said, well, I can't color because her hands were automatic.
Stable. Yeah.
And I said, oh, yes, you can. And so she ended up coloring almost the whole book before she passed. So.
Oh, that's tremendous.
Yeah,
I know
so
you miss her.
Dedication.
So let's move on. You got a couple of other books, but I want to make sure we have time to get to your specialty now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, bring them forward because I can't wait. Okay.
All right.
So not only are we a live performer, but we are a poet and an actor, and of course now we are a candy maker. So tell us quickly, because we want to still do one last thing
yes,
with
ma'am.
you, which we will love to end the show with. Okay, go ahead.
Well, in a way, I'm carrying on a legacy of my family. My family is, they've had businesses forever. They've done catering. I have two aunts that made candy and cookies and cake. And so I was looking for actually another way to have another avenue of income, and decided to start making candy.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see before you are, they're all filled candies. These are truffles, and they have fillings. This one has raspberry filling, and this has orange filling. And the orange and the dark chocolate is to die for.
For heaven's sakes.
The roses are different combinations of chocolate and fillings.
I gotta eat that one.
And oh darn.
Yeah.
So we've got raspberry, orange, and peanut butter filling, and then we've got strawberry filling here and peanut butter. And then these are mini marshmallow pies that I do in different colors. And everything is handmade by me. It's all hand dipped. It's all hand drizzled. But this is another way for me to express creativity, and it is another way to bring joy to other people, even if it's through a lot of calories.
And who cares? I wave my hand and it takes away the calories. Yeah. Now you will also have your wares at the what's her name again? I'm sorry, Frances Harper's event.
Yes.
And also at the Christian Writers Conference?
Yes. Now, the Frances Harper event is the night before the Christian Writers Conference. They usually have a meet and greet. This will be part of the meet and greet.
Having goodies to taste.
Yes. So the name of the business, I don't think we mentioned that, is Positively Debralicious.
Oh my.
And I've had a group on Facebook called Positively Debra for about a year and a half now, and this is an extension of that. And so
let me interrupt you to say you must follow her on Facebook, because most days she comes up with a positive expression, so that, as we like to say, you can wake up and live your life at a higher level. And she just presents the simplest, common sense, inspirational type statements, sayings, affirmations, what have you, on your Facebook page. So that's just Debra Rose. Go to Facebook, you'll find her. Okay, I interrupted you for that. So now you also have cookies, I understand.
yes, so the business is candy, cookies, and mini cakes.
Okay.
So I will be presenting cookies at both events for that weekend. And then in preparation for Mother's Day, I will also have mini cakes, like little pedophores, the little tiny cakes. I call these bite-sized pieces of heaven.
Okay.
Some things might take more than one bite, but you'll be looking forward to that second bite.
Of course. Now let me ask you, the intricacy of this. Just give us a ballpark idea. About how long does it take you to make an individual candy?
Oh, hours and hours. No, not really.
Oh,
There.
because I was going to ask, do you sleep between your writing, your acting, your candy making, and everything else you do?
People ask me that. They say, well, you must not ever sleep. I sleep at least 9 hours every night.
Okay.
And sometimes 10. What I do is I really plan ahead, and I don't have children. I don't have grandchildren, nieces, nephews. I don't have a boyfriend who's all in my business.
Yeah.
And so I choose my projects based on just things that I love to do. And when you do something that brings you joy, you don't really look at the clock. It really doesn't matter. But the candy is, there are molds,
Of course.
that you can get,
Yeah.
So I learned, I have to tell you about my schooling for learning how to make these.
Okay.
YouTube University.
Oh, yeah.
I learned it all on YouTube.
YouTube. Okay.
And so there might be, like for the roses, there are 12 in one mold. So I've learned how to make them so you produce a dozen at a time. And then these are hand rolled.
I'm tired now, folks, and we don't have much time left. So while I sneak and eat one of her candies, Debra is going to enthrall us with a selection from her repertoire because she also performs one night a week, right? And where is that located?
That is Quick and Delicious Restaurant at 113 South Main Street in Oberlin.
Okay, quick and delicious. I don't care how quick these are. I know they're delicious, so I'm going to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right, and do you know what selection you're going to enthrall us with today?
Well, besides my singing on Thursdays, I also sing with two big bands, and so this is part of my repertoire for all three.
Okay.
And it is a song that has been recorded by several people. It's a Fats Waller song.
Oh, right.
And
yes.
This is sort of the Ella Fitzgerald arrangement
Take of
that song.
Yeah. Would you prefer to stand or to sit?
I can sit.
She can sit. I'm gonna move the candy over so
So
that
she
won't
can
be
sneak a piece.
So I can sneak a piece. Yes.
All right.
So whenever you're ready.
All right. No one to talk with, all by myself. No one to walk with, 'cause I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in a corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Thank you.
Well, with a mouthful of Debra's delicious candy, can you imagine what a dynamo this woman is? And what is your email address or your phone number, whichever you prefer to give out, so that folks can contact her for any one of her many talents?
My phone number is 440-864-2241, and you can contact me through email or my website, both of which are Debra Rose Connect. That's DebraRose, like the flower, connect.com for the website, and at gmail.com for the email.
So, and of course, we always indicate that if you can't reach the talent, our guest, our featured guests yourself, you can always contact us at wakeupandlives, with an S, at gmail.com, and we will get in touch with our guest on your behalf so that you can connect. And that candy, oh, talk about Debralicious. I'm closing the show now so that I can sneak another piece if she'll let me. Okay, and we thank you, Debra, for joining us.
My
Again,
pleasure.
I have missed you in person, and I'm so happy to have you here. And so we want to thank our other guest, our emerging playwright, Richard Asbury, and of course the staff, Regina Foster of Rainey. So we thank, of course, our James McGilbray for videoing us. That's a word. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.